Quantum healing, the future of medicine.
So today we're going to do something a little different, and we're going to be working on 3D vibration and 5D vibration. What is the difference? And what makes the difference? What makes a 3D frequency so different to 5D frequency? So we are going to deal with what the difference is. What is it really? Because if we are to transition from 3D to 5th dimension, then actually, what is the difference? What makes the difference in frequency? So we're going to be talking about atoms as well, because it becomes really, really important. And making this very, very simple, the difference is in the atoms. And so we're going to talk about the basics of atoms and what is rotation of the electrons around the nucleus in an atom in 3D, and what is it in 5D, and how do we get from one stage to the next. But before we start that, I studied under one of the amazing spiritual masters of his time. I was very fortunate to be able to sit at his feet and get all kinds of knowledge. And he had written many books. And at his presentations that he gave, of course, people asked questions of him, and they were answered, question and answers. And during these question and answers, someone would record these. So they are actual answers and questions in real time. He would answer these, and they were recorded and actually written down in books to preserve these question and answer sessions. One of them was particularly interesting to me when I was going through some of the books with this spiritual master. And he had doubts and he had questions about energy. What is it in the body? And so he asked the spiritual master. And the question was, so when I say question, you know that it is the scientists asking the question. And when I say answer, it means it's coming from the spiritual master. This particular spiritual master I know was one with creation. There's very few souls that actually God realized. There are lots of gurus and spiritual masters, but very few attain the degree of being one with Creator. And there's usually one always present on the planet. It's always been that way through the ages. And I was fortunate enough, of course, to receive teachings from this particular soul. So the question was there a creator of the creation? Answer: the Lord created this whole creation and shared the same life which he had with his creation. His creation is living. He has shared that life force with it. Nothing existed before the creation, and nothing exists which he has not created. So he has created everything. Question: does this not seem to contradict the evidence which has resulted from scientific research into the human mind? Answer: it is the research of Christ. It is the experience. It is the spiritual experience of all of the mystics. Of course, we are human, and the research has been made at our level. But Christ says that having come to this level, we have access to the Father. This is the spiritual experience that mystics try to share with us in their scriptures or books. Just as scientists or philosophers share the experience and experiments in their books, so similarly, the saints or the mystics also have experienced certain things within themselves which they share with us in their scriptures. So question: well, it may be that they have seen something, but they show very little proof of it. Answer: well, you must test and prove it for yourself. You see, scientists tell you that a certain combination will give a certain result. You will say, well, I have no proof of it. But you can have proof of it by doing it yourself, testing it for yourself. In the same way, you can do the research on the basis of the given formula. Then, and only then, will you be convinced of the accuracy of the formula. Similarly, the spiritual experiences which the saints share with us in books and scriptures can only convince us when we try to follow their teachings, love their teachings, live their teachings, and make our own research according to these teachings. Then we can say whether they are right or they are wrong. How can we tell otherwise unless we give them a fair trial? Question: I'm not convinced. Answer: because you have not made any research within yourself. Questioner: maybe. Answerer: you see, in our very presence, scientists have gone to the moon, and we, who have heard about it, believe that they have gone to the moon. But if you had never heard about it, you might say, I am not convinced that they have gone to the moon. Well, you may think whatever you like, but the questioner, no such experimental proof exists about the soul. Answerer: what is in the body now that gives it life? The body is the same after death. So what is missing that it cannot move around? I'll tell you when given life to this flesh. I'll tell you when life gives life to this flesh. Questioner: maybe that's the creation of a new life, a new soul. Answerer: well, that is what I'm asking. What leaves the body and what comes into the body which gives it life? Questioner: well, there may be nothing. Answerer: well, if there is nothing, then how is it that today we are running about and tomorrow we are dead? What is in the body? After all, there must be something in the body which gives it life, and something in the body without which the body becomes useless. What is that? I mean, as a scientist, you must have made such research. What is it? Give it any name. You can't just say coincidentally you are living and coincidentally you are dead. There's something which is giving you life, something which, when taken out of the body, leaves the body useless. After you are dead, the body is still made up of the same elements as when you were alive, and that is earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The elements remain the same. So what is there that is missing from the body when we are dead? Questioner: maybe you are right. So this is a big question for all of us. What is that thing that runs through our body? And it is the quantum. It is light. It is life. It is creative force. And as we've discussed previously, this creative force has a super intelligence. It's not just light. And we can use this intelligence when we heal. If we're connected to it and we know how it's working, and we know how to work with it, and we know how to use that super intelligence when we are in the healing mode, this is a huge progress. This is something that healers in general, or let's say the mainstream medicine that we've involved with, are not very aware of this force. Again, it's the triangle of body, mind, spirit. It's the spirit part. Spirit being not only attending churches and doing spiritual lessons, that is an aspect of it, but it can also be used for healing. And that's what we've been discussing. And that's what I have been using in this regression or reversal of post-traumatic stress disorder. It is that easy to reverse it if you're understanding the quantum physics, if you're understanding what quantum is, what light is, and you feel it and you connect with that super intelligence and are able to connect your client or your patient to that intelligence. This is where we progress. We go to a whole different level of healing. It is not using intuition. It is way beyond intuition. Intuition is using the higher mind. We're still in mind.